Now, forgive me for this being the second video in a row about indie horror games, but I felt as though this would make for quite an interesting video. Bendy and Ink Machine is an indie horror game, which was in 2018 after having had its chapters gradually released over the course of about 2 years. The game takes place in an abandoned animation studio and involves evil, twisted and frankly nightmarish versions of kids' characters from the world in which it is set. Poppy Playtime is an indie horror game, which is yet to be fully released, despite the insane amounts of merch and the fucking movie it's getting, and 2 chapters have been released so far. The game takes place in an abandoned toy factory and involves evil, twisted, and frankly nightmarish versions of kids' characters from the world in which it is set. Now, it's really easy to word things in a way that makes something look bad, so let's look at a couple of actual examples. Chapter 1 of Bendy and Ink Machine ends with a jump scare, and the player being chased through tight corridors that inevitably lead them to the location of the second chapter. Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime ends with a jump scare, and the player being chased through tight corridors that inevitably lead them to the location of the second chapter. But I will say, this chase scene, it's like really fucking tense. It's great. I love this chase scene. No matter how much I hate the game, I fucking love this chase scene. Chapter 2 of Poppy Playtime doesn't actually take much from Bendy Chapter 2, which would normally show improvement on the parts of the game's directors. Too bad it just steals from Chapter 3 instead. Chapter 3 of Bendy and Ink Machine follows the player exploring a massively expanded area while doing quests for a character who ends up being evil. Now, you won't believe this part, but Chapter 2 of Poppy Playtime follows the character exploring a massively expanded area while playing games with a character who ends up being evil. Are you noticing a trend yet? Because I sure fucking am. Chapter 3 of Bendy and Ink Machine ends with the player being transported via elevator by someone they assume to be an ally to the exit of the studio, only to be turned on and dropped down the elevator shaft, then crashing before waking up and seeing a little snippet of what the next chapter has to offer. Chapter 2 of Poppy Playtime, how do you not understand yet? Get this one, guys. It ends with the player being transported via a train to the exit of the factory by someone they assume to be an ally, only to be turned on and taken down the wrong route, where they go too fast and crash, waking up to see a snippet of what the next chapter has to offer. I'm sure there are many more smaller comparisons I can make, but good lord, this does not look good for mob games. I've never seen such blatant theft of ideas from a company.